All right, viewers. Now bringing our focus back to the bilateral talks that are going to be held between India and China. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping will hold bilateral talks today, and all eyes are going to be on the crucial bilateral talks on the sidelines of the ongoing 16th BRICS Summit in Russia's Kazan city. This will be the first formal meeting between the two Asian leaders in 5 years, and also comes just 2 days after India confirmed reaching a truce with China to resume the patrolling in the disputed areas along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh, including Demchok and Despong, ending a 4-year military standoff. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping met at a formal dinner hosted by Russian President Vladimir Putin for all the BRICS leaders and attendees of the summit. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri has confirmed that the meeting between the Prime Minister and the Chinese President will take place on the sidelines of the 2-day summit. He, however, did not mention the timing of the meeting that's expected to be held today. The current disengagement agreement between India and China pertains to the patrolling in Depsang and Demchok areas. Earlier, the militaries of both the nations had pulled back from the 4 of the 6 friction points in eastern Ladakh, including the Galwan Valley, where a violent clash has taken place in June 2020, which was the most serious conflict between India and China militaries in the decades. The Chinese side also confirmed the development, saying that a resolution has been reached on the relevant matters and that it will work with the New Delhi to implement these resolutions in future. The last time a formal meeting happened between the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping was in Mahabalipuram in October 2019. It is after 5 years that the meeting is taking place. The India and the Chinese militaries have been locked in standoff since May 2020, and full resolution of the border row has not been achieved through the two sides having disengaged from a number of friction points. The ties between the two countries nosedived significantly following the fierce clash in the Galwan Valley in June 2020 that marked the most serious military conflict between the two sides in decades. All right, viewers, joining me on the broadcast is former Union Minister General VK Singh. So thank you for speaking to Newsx and at this point of time giving us your crucial time. You know, now it is a big day for India when the disengagement talks are concerned with China. You having that kind of expertise and long learned experience of how India's relationship with China, especially at the matters concerning the line of actual control is concerned. Now, how significantly do you view this particular bilateral talks that are going to be held between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Singh. Yes, I can.
Let me start by saying that between the two countries, there was issue concerning the line of actual control in terms of interpretations and in terms of the actions taken by China along the line of actual control and actions taken by us to defend our claim. What has happened now is that there is agreement for disengagement so that the eyeball to eyeball confrontation can come down and both sides can sit down and work out various other measures that have been going on for quite some time for peacefully resolve the issues concerned. I think it is a big diplomatic victory in which whatever initiative we have taken, the Chinese have come up to say that, okay, we will be able to sit with you and do the disengagement part. The modalities will be worked out by both the sides in days to come. And in this background, when our Prime Minister, who has been spearheading the effort for a peaceful line of actual control and for resolving all disputes peacefully within the national interests that are involved, when he meets the Chinese President, I think the atmosphere will be cordial and both sides can discuss their issues in this particular cordial atmosphere so that both countries get that type of advantages that they are looking for.
I understand about how in fact significant this is going to be. In your opinion, sir, what I also want to understand from you are the global challenges which India is going ahead with this bilateral talk, but there are in fact global challenges countering. There is issues of terrorism across the international border as well, and there are several issues which India raises, advocating for diplomacy and peace, and India very predominantly has been advocating for peace in all the global challenges. How do you view this very crucial talks with China as a means of also countering the global challenges, addressing these issues across the international border?
Let me just say that the diplomatic challenge was to ensure that disengagement takes place, and I think we have done it very well under the guidance of our Prime Minister. Where the talks are concerned, each side would look for ensuring that the spirit is maintained in whatever they are talking about. And to that extent, I think that's why I said it looks that the talks will be fruitful in this type of atmosphere. Two big neighbors need to resolve their issues so that there is peace on the borders and both can concentrate on their economic development as well as contributing towards the wellness of rest of the entire region. What I think both sides will look for is that whatever measures have been initiated now, they contribute towards overall resolving of the dispute. Large number of rounds have taken place where the border issue is concerned. There are issues of interpretation. There are issues of the way the historical things have taken place. And I think any country would look for ensuring that their interests are safeguarded. And I am very sure that under our able Prime Minister, we will be able to achieve that.
And before I also proceed further with India's trade sectoral talks with Russia, I want to understand about what do you look forward changing in the Demchok and the Depsang areas as the LAC, in fact, standoff after 4 years now is going to be further in the conversation. It is in fact in 5 years the first time this is happening. The kind of key changes that you are expecting from this particular point, I understand that this is going to be positive as per your opinion, but when we talk about the nitty-gritties, the patrolling that we are concerned with and also the incursions which we put the spotlight on, which become the bone of contention in the Depsang and the Demchok areas, what do you look forward could be a possible positive outcome as we lead further into the conversations?
Our problem is that most of the people do not understand what is the ground situation. If you are expecting that announcement has been made for disengagement, a button will be pressed, everybody will go 20 kilometers away from where they are, I think we are barking up the wrong tree. I'm sorry to say that. Things will take place. The things will trickle down. There'll be meetings on the line of actual control itself, where military commanders from both the sides will sit down and work out the modalities that will flow out of this agreement of disengagement. And don't expect immediate results.
Okay.
Everything takes time. Even hurry takes time. So things will happen both in Depsang and in Demchok. What will happen will come out now when the things are implemented, and that implementation is worked out by meetings between the military commanders of both the countries.
You're saying that things will happen, but they will happen as time proceeds, and patience in fact needs to be kept at this point, as in fact very correctly said Mr. Singh. Also, kindly detail about how do you feel about India's target to build the 100 billion bilateral trade with Russia by 2030. This was a target that was set when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Russia last time in July, and in fact this is going to be very crucial into navigating India's way into the sectoral trade target, which is led by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Russia's Deputy Prime Minister as well. What is your view on this? How does the India-Russia bilateral talks also going forward look like?
India and Russia have enjoyed great amount of trust and friendship, and it's a very long-standing friendship between both the countries, where whether it is trade, whether it is commerce, whether it is culture, whether you name a thing, both countries have shared targets in all these areas. And where bilateral trade is concerned, I think modalities with the present day world affair will take place, and it will always be for the betterment of both the countries. Today, Russia is having its own issues because of the war with Ukraine, because of sanctions that have been placed against it. Where India is concerned, I think as a friend, we will look at what we can do to ensure that this trade and commerce contributes to the economic betterment of both the countries.
Sir, before I let you go, one final word that we want to understand as India's role as a peacemaker with Russia. You know, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi has equally visited Ukraine and Russia, and at the same time, how do you feel India's leadership, in fact, and diplomacy leading the way to understanding the issues between the two nations, and at this point of time, activities related to the conflict that's raging at the border between Russia and Ukraine?
See, let's go by a simple dictum that India has been friendly with both the countries. And that is how we were able to take advantages when we rescued our students under Op Ganga. So, with the type of goodwill that prevails and the type of stature that our Honorable Prime Minister has, the understanding that he has in both the countries, I'm sure when we start talking to both of them, very positive results will come.
All right. All right. Former Union Minister General VK Singh, in fact, thank you for speaking to us and giving us your time, as far as all eyes viewers are going to be on the much anticipated bilateral talks of India and China after India and China have reached a truce on the disengagement terms at the line of actual control. There. Now viewers, moving on to track the latest that we are bringing to you from Jammu and Kashmir.